And welcome back to Who Would Win Speed Round 5. I enjoy doing these speed rounds. A, because it's just kind of fun to do a different version of the Who Would Win, but B, it gets through a lot more suggestions a lot quicker, so I can get to more suggestions. Um, just so we know, at the end of the week of Who Would Win, I do have a couple people, I'm not, again, never going to say names, people who are like, oh, please do this, and who are constantly giving me the same request because they want me to do that. And on one hand, I love that because that means you like my content and want my opinion on it and want me to do a video. But you have to understand, it is a first come, first serve thing. Where's my Who Would Win book? Do I have it actually here? Yeah, right here. Let's say, hypothetically, that you are on I have 100 pages in this book right here. And you're on I'm already on page 25. Well, that's all well and good. I'm going to get to your request, but you might be on page 30, 50, 200, whatever. And I got all those other people who have already given me suggestions. And if you're new to the channel and you end up giving me a suggestion, well, guess what? Now you're going to be on near the last page, and I'm still cycling through everyone else. So I do get it. I get that you guys want me to do that. I really do. But you guys got to just be patient. And unfortunately, just constantly asking for it isn't going to make it come any faster. So I am sorry if that's a bit of a disappointment. But let's get into something more positive. Let's actually do some Who Would Wins. Now, whenever I do a speed round Who Would Win video, is basically I look at the fight suggestion, and I'm like, okay, what's something that I know would be too short in an actual video to talk about? And that's the ones I talk about. I'll go to some degree of why I think that, and some of them are a bit longer than others. But still, let's get into it. And am I missing one here? Just one. No, I'm not. Okay. So this first one, the Indominus Rex versus the Pred Alien came from the World Hyper Goldfist, I think that was the name of it. This would be I'd already done the Alien Queen, I think, versus the Indominus, and my opinion of that reflects here. While the Indominus would overall beat the hell out of a Pred Alien, the Pred Alien might be small and could move around a bit, but we've seen that even small opponents like a Velociraptor aren't going to be able to do much. The problem is that the damn Indominus Rex is built as a weapon. It's actually more naturally durable than a normal dinosaur. It can take a lot of hits, including gunfire and bullets and all that. But there's a catch. Depending on how the Indominus kills the Pred Alien, it could technically end in a draw. Because if the Indominus just throws it, breaks its body, it wins. If the Indominus just kind of rips it apart with its claw, its hand's going to melt a bit, but he'll be able to live from that. If he bites down and crushes it in his jaws, well, that ass is going to rip right through his jaws. Now, that's also still going to be dependent on if he swallows. If he swallows, well, it's going to be a draw because they're going to both end up dead. The majority of the time, though, the Indominus is going to take the win on that. So, win goes to the Indominus. Beerus versus Lucy, I could have swore I did this, but I think what happened was I had both Beerus and Lucy in a speed round video fighting different opponents, so I kind of combined them in my head. Beerus versus Lucy comes to us from Chris J. Clark. This is Beerus. Lucy at her strongest is not even planetary from what I can tell. She can do some weird stuff and is very powerful. Well, again, we're talking about a guy who, if he just wanted to, got pissed off in the fight, just went, I'm going to fly to the outside the atmosphere. It's like, well, that was boring. Boom. And just blow up the planet. He could literally blow it up with a tapping of his finger. You're talking about someone who's not really even planetary versus someone who's a high universal, the universe that's already bigger than the normal universe we exist in, versus low multiversal. Guy who can literally just wipe her out just by Hakkaiing her right there. So, yeah, that's a Beerus win right there. Then coming to us from Yeju World, we have, not that one. Sorry. There we go. We have, and I'm past where I wanted to be. There we are. So we have Gru versus Shrek. This is one of the ones that could be a bit more in-depth. But the problem here is the only thing Shrek has over Gru is physicality. And even that's debatable because we've seen Gru actually do some pretty impressive stuff, physically speaking, including like beating the sharks up with his bare hands and all that. But it's just that Gru is a master inventor genius. He was a former evil genius. He literally could just go freeze it, and then just Shrek's frozen. That's it. And we saw no one could get out of that. Maybe Shrek's physically more powerful, but he's also got far more weaponry. tech minions than Shrek does, Gru would win this fight. I fully believe Gru would win that fight. So then we have our next one, which I don't believe it's that. No, that's not the one I want to do. I want that one, which comes to us from Lindsay L. John Wick versus Steven Seagal. I don't know why I'm talking like this. I'm talking a bit more like Marlon Brando, but Steven Seagal does he kind of has a little bit of that Brando tone in his voice, but it's a bit more just like a whisper. He's got just a little bit of an accent. But, you want to mess with me, punk? Come on. Like, it's a little bit more like that. By the way, I sometimes rock a goatee like that. But damn, I don't know if it's because he put on weight. That goatee does not look good. And I know that's not I don't think that's a recent image of him. But it's so thick and bushy. Honestly, if he had a full beard, I'm just thinking what it might be like if he had a full beard. No, yeah, honestly, if he had a full beard, it probably wouldn't look bad. That's a bushy ass goatee. Anyway, though, Steven Seagal versus John Wick. This is one where let's take the weapons out of the equation just for a second. If it's hand to hand, who wins? Because Steven Seagal is a legit martial artist to a certain degree. He's also a dirty fighter. He's one of those guys who won't hesitate to fight dirty to win. In any of his films or in real life, he was a part-time cop for a while. Now, granted, he's been made fun of a lot, and kind of rightfully so to some degree, just because he just because he put on a lot of weight, and he's kind of an ass from what I understand. But he did lose some of that weight after a while, and there was a fight scene within, I say, the last 5 years. He did a movie, I think, that had Mike Tyson in it, and he did a fight scene with Mike Tyson, and he was really good in the fight scene, honestly. So he's clearly lost a little bit of weight. But I would probably still put John Wick on this fight, because if we're talking just about hand-to-hand and gun kata, basically as it's called, gun fu, yeah, John Wick constantly is always wearing body armor, skilled with knives, usually has multiple firearms or weapon on him. And if you're just telling me who would win it versus John Wick or Keanu Reeves versus Steven Seagal, I'd probably still go with Keanu Reeves, because Keanu Reeves, Steven Seagal is not bad at all. He's actually pretty competent. Freaking Keanu Reeves is legit. He's more judo jiu-jitsu with, I think, a little bit of Muay Thai in there as well, or is it the Bagua I'm thinking of? I don't know. I know he's legit. So, yeah, no, I would put John in that, just because firearms master, he could literally take him out just from a distance. Now, granted, in this fight, I'd be fair and give Steven Seagal a firearm too, but John's a crack shot versus Steven Seagal, who's usually not, and body armor versus non-body armor most of the time. So we got two more to go. We got coming to us from Nazish Hussein. Peter Griffin versus Cartman. This is surprisingly one of the ones that I think I could spend the most time talking about, because in one hand, Peter's a grown-ass adult. He could beat the hell out of Cartman. And he's beaten the hell out of kids before. We've seen it. But Cartman is, while being immature, racist, stupid in many ways, is the more intelligent between the two of them. He's the one who has actually handcrafted strategies before to bring down stronger foes, we'll call them. But if we're talking about an actual fight, Peter would just yeet Cartman, because Cartman's been beaten. Cartman has been beaten by adults before, including PC Principal. Cartman's also a bitch too. He's been slapped by Kyle Stark Crying, beaten by Wendy. Cartman is just a little bitch when it comes to a fight. He's conniving and kind of an evil mastermind in many ways, but he's a bitch when it comes to a fight. So then Peter just beats the hell out of him. There you go. Just takes one punch, just knocks him clean on his ass. But last but not least, coming to us from the Pringles Man, we have Saitama versus Captain Underpants. And I had to double check, but Captain Underpants apparently does have powers, depending on what you're reading. He is capable of flight, capable of surviving in space without a spacesuit. He's got super strength, super durability, infinite underpants, laser vision, all the works. He's only weak to, he only has actual 3 weaknesses. And none of them are something that Saitama could really exploit. But that doesn't matter, Saitama isn't simply a planetary level individual. Like before we got the Garo fight, he was at minimum a planetary individual, probably more like a Starbuster, whatever, a Starbuster, low solar system buster. When you got the fight with Garo, and he and Garo traded a blow that wiped out an entire covering blanket of space itself, wiping out God knows how many light years worth of systems, not stars, star systems, because each star most likely has planets and orbiting things around them. Even if only half of it, because that wasn't fully Saitama's power either. Let's remember that. But even if that was only maybe half of that was Saitama, that means he still has the ability to wipe out multiple, probably galaxies with a single punch if he really wanted to. And that's still not the full cap of his power, apparently. Now, Saitama, for anyone, people, I watched someone just really break it down. They forgot to cover the Garo fight, apparently, but most likely because they didn't read the manga. But they were talking about like the whole Goku versus Saitama thing, Goku versus Superman thing, and while it's actually kind of ridiculous, and to it mostly I agree. Saitama is still not a universal level fighter. He's not someone whose power threatens the universe itself, just in existing. But the whole point I'm trying to make with this is he literally just flicks Captain Underpants and just beats the hell out of him. Even if Captain Underpants manages to get up, Captain Underpants does not have the physicality to do anything to Saitama at all. This is just due to the fact that Garo literally was trading blows consistent for a little bit with Saitama. And Saitama just walked it off. He sneezed and blew a crater in Jupiter. He survived just being near radiation and just being in a vacuum for God knows how long. He was literally able to pick up a portal and just toss it. Saitama is God compared to Captain Underpants. So, that is speed round number 5. Do you agree with my decisions? Do you agree with my opinions? Do you agree with how I made the fights out? Let me know in the comments below. But until then, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and I will see you folks for the next one. Later.